Chairman, sir. Sir, my first supplementary would be that in part C of the reply indicate that the process of environmental clearance has not yet been complete and there are issues or objections which are raised by Bombay Natural History Society, a prominent authority on conservation of nature. It says that the nuclear project will adversely affect the ecology of the area and list 16 ecologically sensitive sites within 10-kilometer radius of the proposed site. Despite the local opposition also right from the beginning, the opposition still persists, and because of their what would be affecting their livelihood, the impact on the marine life, and as our Konkan region is known as California of
Okay.
India, it's rich, environmentally rich with flora and fauna. But with all these oppositions and the proposed site is also comes under the seismic zone 3, which is earthquake prone. And there are instances that earthquake, whenever has taken place, it reached to 6.3 Richter scale. So with this, whatever happenings are, and since environmental clearances are also falling back, I would like to ask the Honorable Minister whether any thinking in the government is going on for change of site.
No, Speaker, sir, the Honorable Speaker, sir, the issue raised by the Honorable Member has been raised by him in the past also in different platforms. And every time we have tried to allay all these apprehensions that there is no such risk to the marine life, the fisheries, or the people living around. There are ample number of evidence-based studies to prove that. Now, as far as the environment clearance is concerned, it is not that the environment clearance has not happened because there are objections regarding any hazards to the environment. What actually happened is that this project, for a variety of reasons, I'll give you the chronology also, got delayed, and the environment clearance was already available with us, but that expired in 2022 December, and therefore it had to be renewed. And now in the process of renewal, the terms of reference have already been received, and the renewal will also happen very soon. In other words, if there were very serious environment hazards or any apprehension or evidence, then we would not have got the environment clearance even earlier. No, not that. I'll tell you. Now, if you are talking in the terms of election, then I'll have to give you the chronology. See, this project started in, I'll give you the timeline. 2008, when you were there, the first decision was taken by the then government in principle to have a project. Then it takes another 4 or 5 years to take another decision in principle to have 2 reactors. You see the timeline, the pace of timeline. Now it was only later on, towards the end of the earlier government, that a framework agreement was arrived with Messrs. Arriva by the NPCIL. Then the government changed. Now you see the subsequent sequence of events and you will realize that there has not been any unwarranted interval. Yes. No. I'll tell you. I'll explain to you. Then you have any inputs, you are welcome to offer. In 2016, their arrangement changed. The European Development Fund got designated to control and not the Arriva company. So another MOU had to be entered in. So in 2016 it was done. The same 2016 Industrial Way Forward Agreement was done. 2018 the EDF, the European Development Fund. No, I'm telling you this. No, because for your satisfaction. Okay, this is for your satisfaction. So there has been no delay. And even today, the discussions are going on with the French side. They have given a techno-commercial component of the agreement. Now, there are certain inputs from both sides as far as the commercial aspect is concerned, which is being worked out. So there is no such apprehension as far as... No, there were 10 years delay on your part. I am telling, if you give me time, if you don't interrupt me, I'll tell you why the delay. Delay, it is not delay. It is because the arrangement on the French side changed from the company to the European Development Fund. So you have to have a second MOU. Then you had to have an agreement. Then finally now what has happened is that the techno part of the agreement has been accomplished, but you have to negotiate the rest of it. So the discussions are still going.
माननीय मंत्री जी, आप बैठे-बैठे व्यक्तियों का जवाब मत दो। आप इनका जवाब दो देसाई। मिस्टर देसाई, नो।
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman, sir. Thank you, Speaker, sir. Sorry. My second supplementary would be, now clean energy, nuclear power being the source of clean energy, and we have set a target of 100 gigawatt by 2047. And if we are to achieve that, the nuclear power plants have to come up somewhere in the country. I mean, despite the persistent opposition in Konkan region, it may go to any part of the country. But at the same time, that if it is to be in place, any nuclear power plant project which is coming up, CLND, that is civil liability for nuclear damage, which is a main factor which has to be defined and which has to be a major part of the agreement. What is the status, I would like to know. And if when the NPP comes into being, when it is commissioned, then treatment of nuclear waste, which is more bigger question, what is the arrangement on that part? May I know from the Honorable Minister on this? Thank you.
I'm glad that the Honorable Member has asked a very relevant question, which is in keeping with the priorities of the present government. The government led by Prime Minister Modi has already laid for itself the target of net zero by 2070, and in the budget recently presented, we also laid before us the target of achieving 100 gigawatt of energy through the nuclear sources. And the project about which the Honorable Member has asked the question, the Jaitapur project, will have 6 units, each one comprising of or having a capacity of 1,730 megawatts, totaling 10,380 megawatts, which in other words means that the 10% of that 100 gigawatt is going to be contributed by this project. So this is a very important project. Also, it's going to be a next generation project. That is why it is called Empowered Power Project. The safety measures are more intact, the efficiency is more intact, the cost effectivity is there, and India is possibly the only 4th country in the row. Now I'm coming to CLND. I'm asking the first part of your question. So we are the 4th country after China, Finland, and France. So that means we are now graduating to the next level. Now, as far as CLND is concerned, that discussion is not new. In fact, that agreement was accomplished in the year 2010, and then there were apprehensions on the part of suppliers that if we supply and something goes wrong, then we will be held culpable. But I think more than once that has been made abundantly clear. The treaty clearly states that the first liability will be on the operator, not on the supplier. Only when it has been proved by the supplier or otherwise by other evidence that the operator was not at fault, then comes the role of the supplier or his responsibility. And then supplier plus operator are together insured. This government only created an insurance pool of rupees 1,500 crore, for which a premium of 120 crore is paid by NPCIL every year. And beyond 1,500 crore, the government of India has committed to contribute rupees 3,000 crore. And if it goes beyond that also, then we are also a part of the Convention on Supplementary Compensation to the UNO. So there are all safeguards in place. Nevertheless, in the current budget, we have come out with nuclear mission, which would also envisage opening up the nuclear sector to private players in order to give it a boost as far as expansion of the nuclear projects and the nuclear. I'm glad to inform you that we have already got into that mode. The first ever nuclear project in North India is coming up at a place which is just about 150 kilometers from where we are standing right now. That is Gorakhpur, a small town in Haryana. So that is going to be the first nuclear power project in North India. So we are already in an expansionist mode. And in order to facilitate that further, we are going to have an integrated private-public sector synergy, because it's our considered view that if we have to move beyond where we are today, we can't move in silos.
Thank you. माननीय सदस्यगण,